solution. It calls for the operationalization of the national policy of girls' education through a clear implementation plan. The brief also emphasizes the importance of robust monitoring systems and gender disaggregated indicators to ensure accountability and track progress. And then also educate her two initiatives: strengthens policy advocacy, budget commitments, and community level engagement, focusing on teacher education and curriculum reform. Educate her two aims to embed gender equity into pedagogical practice by equipping educators to foster inclusive learning environments. But also they point out gender equity. And that doesn't mean that girls or women should be, yes. Okay, and then national policy on girls' education recognizes gender-based violence as a major barrier to girls' educational access, retention and achievement. The NPGE calls for the establishment of safe spaces, the enforcement of child protection protocols, and the integration of gender-responsive pedagogy to prevent and respond to violence. And then the educator policy brief emphasizing the need to shift social norms and power relations that enable violence. It advocates for embedding SRGBV prevention into teacher education, curriculum design, and school governance structures. The brief also underscores the importance of multi-sectoral coordinating linking education with health, justice, and social welfare system to ensure holistic support for survivors and accountability for perpetrators. And yeah, still the Educate Her 2 initiative operationalizes these commitments by supporting community-based monitoring, policy advocacy, and capacity building led by civil society organizations. HOPE and POE. The initiative strengthens local ownership of SRGBV prevention through participatory tools and feedback mechanisms. It also promotes the development of national SRGBV indicators and data systems aligned with the education sector plan, enabling evidence-based decision-making and resource allocation. And these themes are also mentioned in these documents. So it really is mentioned in very many documents. And together, these all documents signal a paradigm shift in Liberia's approach to SRGBV from reactive interventions to proactive systemic prevention. They call for teacher education programs that equip educators with the skills to identify, prevent, and respond to SRGBV, including through mental health and psychosocial support, referral pathways, and inclusive classroom practices. And curriculum reform is positioned as a key strategy for challenging harmful gender norms and fostering respectful relationships among learners. And that's what you are now doing here. So this is a very important theme also during this week. Okay. So those were from your documents. So the topic or the theme is right from your own policy documents, not my opinions. Okay. As Liberia continues to reform its teacher education system, these policies provide a roadmap for embedding gender equity at every level, from policy to practice, from classroom to community. The challenge ahead lies in translating these commitments into sustained action. For example, while teachers' code of conduct mandates sexual violence as a crime under the penal code, awareness at school and subnational level is low. This is from Liberia Education Sector Analysis. Legal and cultural barriers, as well as discriminatory social norms, underpinned by high levels of sexual and gender-based violence, including in and around schools, fuel significant gender inequality.
Half of the girls and women in Liberia have undergone female genital mutilation with variations by county, place of residence, wealth and religion. 36% of respondents say that schoolgirls often or always face discrimination, harassment or sexual coercion from teachers. Such abuse not only undermines girls' safety and dignity, but also discourages them from continuing their education. 1 in 5 learners, both girls and boys, report experiencing sexual gender-based violence from teachers or staff, often related to sex for grades. Gap in educational attainment. While 50% of Liberian men have reached secondary school, only 42% of women have done the same. At the post-secondary level, the gap widens further. Just 17% of women have advanced beyond high school, compared to 22% of men. And recommendations. Gender-responsive pedagogy should be systematically embedded into both pre-service and in-service teacher education programs. School-related gender-based violence identification, referral, and prevention strategies should be incorporated into teacher education curricula. Teacher standards and leadership development frameworks should be aligned with gender equity principles. School-level response teams, clear reporting mechanism, and community engagement protocols should be established to ensure safe learning environments. Teacher education should include instruction on the harmful effects of sexual violence on children's development and learning. As several male teachers said, what they learned during the training about the traumatic impact of engaging in sexual activities with students led them to cease doing so. And education is an important mechanism to increase awareness of the dangers of female genital mutilation and of groups that do not practice it. Like in Togo, 3%, and in Ghana, 4% of women have got this. And the upper one was taken from a project, or it was a study of a project which was conducted in Liberia, and the teachers were trained about training of trainers, neuroscience and mental health teacher education in Liberia. That kind of project was done, and then a study about this, the results of the programs. And there are a few examples of what kind of courses we have in Finland in teacher training about this issue. Again, here are the objectives, and then the professor decides how and which contents she or he is taking to her teaching or his. Understand key concepts related to gender, gender equality, gender bullying and gender-based violence in educational context. Know the content of child rights. Identify risk factors of school-related gender-based violence in learning environments. Analyze how gender stereotypes, gender expectations, social norms and power relations shape children's experiences in early education. Apply gender-responsive pedagogical approaches that promote equity, safety and inclusion. Reflect on educators' role in preventing and responding to gender-based violence and discrimination. And working methods on this course are that students read event articles, they gather together to discuss them, and students write a learning diary and synthesis. And another course is gender practices in education. Develop, and the general objectives of this course are to develop an understanding of gender and sexuality as socially and culturally constructed, not fixed biological traits. equip future teachers with the critical skills to identify and analyze how gender and sexuality shape educational practices and school culture. Increase gender awareness to challenge stereotypes and promote a non-discriminatory, inclusive learning environment. Provide a theoretical framework for understanding the root causes of gender inequality and gender-based violence in schools. And there are links, you will get them when you get the presentations after this week. Useful training material, there are videos from Tampere University. I think the both were from Tampere University, Finland. But they are in English. And, yes.
Between you and us, when you talk about when you read our policy on gender, you said that's not my opinion.
Yo, get it.
But between you and us, do you have an opinion to share just between you and us? Just between you and us.
I guess I told my opinion already. Yes, and what I think about the challenges that I would, my opinion is similar to the documents you had, that this should be taken seriously. Because the numbers we saw about children facing discrimination and sexual harassment from teachers is serious, and it should be something done about it, I think. Yes, yes, yes. But I'm talking about equity, and it's for both boys and girls. What can we do that the school is safer and more respecting for everyone? That's why we talk about inclusion. Do you have different cultural background or language or whatever, disability? So it's important for all, and not only this. Yes. I just wanted, because we don't want to bring here things that how we do things in Finland. It has to be in your Liberian context. So that's why I wanted to highlight that these are from your Liberian policy documents. And there has been a reason for that they have done these documents. And you have to ask for that, the ones who they made them. Yeah. Yes, and I think it's so, it's almost 4:30, so I think we will have the workshops tomorrow, but now you have time to think, how would you enhance your curriculum about these issues? Is it necessary to add something to the courses, or would you like something right freely, which should be taken into consideration? Yes, but now you have time to think about it.
That's like the main opinion in Finland.
Yeah, I went to a school at the time I was supervisor. Went to monitor and after opening pre-conference, so I went to the class and the teacher was teaching. And then she was always asking, she was always